Welcome to Two Trees Gaming. Today it's a 700-point battle report for the Middle-earth strategy battle game. It's Louis' Army of Gothmog versus Aaron's Army of the Shire featuring Aragorn and Gandalf. Louis will be bringing the Army of Gothmog Legendary Legion. That means every orc on the battlefield is going to get +1 to wound against men. Once per game, all the orcs within 12 inches of Gothmog are going to be able to re-roll failed to wound rolls, and Gothmog's standfast is going to affect heroes. On top of that, Gothmog himself is a beast. He's got 3 attacks and Master of Battle. Zagdush has got 3 attacks, he's also got Strike, and he can choose to lower his defense to increase his strength. Goros fight 5 with 2 attacks and Burly. If he's going to lose his final wound, he can choose to roll a dice, and on a 2+, an orc within an inch of him takes the wound instead of him. Gurritz is a pretty standard Moron on Orc Captain profile with an extra point of might, but he's got the Master of Reserve special rule, so in Maelstrom scenarios when he's on the table, he can plus or minus rolls for entering the board. He's also got a Mordor Troll and then a handful of orcs to support them. Aaron will be using an alliance between the Fellowship and the Shire. The army is led by Aragorn on horse with Arndril. Gandalf the Grey is also on horseback, he's leading 6 Hobbit archers. These 2 heroes will have a huge part to play. The synergy between Aragorn's 3 point of might and Gandalf's 3 point of will could be a deciding factor in the game. Bilbo Baggins is there with the 1 ring but no other equipment. Farmer Maggot and Farmer Cotton are also leading Hobbit militia. And Holfoot Bracegirdle is leading some sheriffs who won't receive -1 to their duel roll if they're within 3 inches of him. They'll be playing Command the Battlefield. There's 1 victory point on offer for each quarter of the board with more of their models in than the opponent. There's 2 victory points for each quarter that's got at least twice as many models as the opponent. There's 1 or 2 victory points for wounding or killing the enemy leader, and 1 or 2 victory points for breaking the opponent, and also for not being broken yourself. It's a Maelstrom of Battle scenario, which means none of your models start in play. At the end of your moves phase, you'll roll a dice for each warband that's not in play. On the score of a 1, they won't enter. A 2 or a 3, the opponent's going to pick a side, north, south, east or west, depending on the roll of the dice. 3 or 4 you'll pick, and on a 6, you can pick any edge of the battlefield. There is a special rule for this scenario. The middle 12 inches of the board is worthless land and won't count toward any victory points for controlling board quarters. And the game ends when one force has been reduced to 25% of their starting number. So as it's a Maelstrom scenario, no models start the game on the board, and Louis wins priority and starts rolling to see who enters from where.
So I'm going to put Gurritz on first so he can start using his Master of Reserves.
No, you're not.
Oh, Louis uses Gurritz as Master of Reserves to increase the roll from a 1 to a 2. It's not ideal because Aaron picks where he comes on, but it means that Louis is going to be able to plus or minus 1 for each future warband that enters play.
Gurritz from here.
Just Zagdush, I in. Here's another 2.
So he can plus or
So
minus.
plus or minus. Gurritz to go down to a 1, so he's going to come on a turn later.
Yeah. You need something to cost with Gurritz, otherwise I tell you what, Gurritz is a problem.
I'm going to save the Enforcer. I'm going to put Gothmog now. It's a 2. Gothmog coming on next turn up. So Goroth. And here's a little warband. There's a 3. So if I can go up now to a 4, I can choose north or south. So I'm going to team up with Gurritz. And then finally the Enforcer.
Yeah.
Oh my days!
Days!
Gurritz has paid his points there though. Like he's, spared you from being split up. How are you feeling after that? Is that good or bad news?
I don't know. I'm fed up.
Okay. My go. I'm going to go for Bilbo's warband. No. Yes. 6.
Louis was obviously incredibly unlucky there. Only Gurritz, Goroth and a small warband of Moronons have actually entered the field. They're in the northwest corner of the board here. The rest of his army is in reserve and will be rolling again next turn. Aaron's obviously fared a lot better. Bilbo and Gandalf arrived from the bottom board edge, whilst Farmer Cotton arrives with some militia on the top board edge. Holfoot Bracegirdle and his sheriffs are facing off against Goroth and Gurritz, and on the opposite side to them is Farmer Maggot, and then it's only Aragorn left to roll for. Aragorn's rolled a 2 to come on.
Yeah, I'm going to use my 3 point of might to make you run me on east or west, not north or south.
Half of Louis' army is obviously missing from the battlefield, so I haven't counted the scores yet. but Arryn wins priority for turn 2 and begins by calling a heroic march with Aragorn. Arryn moves his hobbits as far as he can, which admittedly isn't very far when you're a hobbit. A lot of them are moving off screen at the moment, but they are making their way toward the centre of the battlefield. Near the ruin, Holfoot creates a choke point against that and the board edge, and Aragorn marches toward the centre of the battlefield, and then it's over to Gandalf to cast some magic.
I'm going to use my 3 points of will to immobilise Goroth.
Nice.
She passes.
You this one? No, it's okay.
No, so Goroth's immobilised.
Louis attacks the sheriffs with Gurits and the Moronons that are around him. He has to leave Goroth in place though, because he's been immobilised by Gandalf. And at this point I should say there's a crease on the mat that we're playing on. We're using that as the edge of the board. So Louis can't flank round the back of the sheriffs with his Moronons. He then makes the roll to bring Gothmog and his massive warband on. This is a troll, Gothmog and a load of Moronons.
1. I'm going to use Gurus as Master of Reserves to let to a 2, so you can choose north or south.
To make me choose.
For my big warband, Gothmog, 16 Moronons and a troll.
I don't know how to put you all together, because that's where Aragorn is. And Gandalf, or... Because that warband will mop this half of my army up. There.
So Louis moves Gothmog and the bulk of his army on, and then rolls for Zagdush. So Louis rolled a 1, Master Reserved up to 2, and you've chosen to bring Zagdush.
Yeah.
There's 4 hobbits. He's followed by the Enforcer, who moves on near Gothmog. With all of the models now on the board, this is how it's looking. The hobbits are spread across 3/4 of the board, with Aragorn and Gandalf either side of the centre line. Louis' army is split into 2. Gothmog leads the main force, down from the top of the board with the troll, and on the opposite side of the board, dangerously close to Aragorn, is Gurits and Goroth, and then all on his own at the bottom is Zagdush, but he could probably do some damage without Aragorn or Gandalf nearby to help. And we've got 2 combats for the turn, Gurits and a spearman versus 1 hobbit sheriff, and 2 Moronons versus a sheriff.
No. 1, 4, 5 actually. Nope.
3 2s.
The hobbit lives.
The other sheriff wasn't quite so lucky and is the first casualty of the game. Heading into turn 3, Arryn's got a pretty commanding lead, although it's mainly because his army is spread out across the battlefield. There's plenty of time left to play in this game. At the start of turn 3, Louis wins priority, and Arryn doesn't call a heroic march or heroic move.
No, I'll leave on just in case you lose somebody sticking out.
Louis moves Zagdush into striking range of the hobbits. Even if they move a full 4 inches away, they're not going to be able to escape him next turn. Gurits uses Arryn's own choke point against him, and the rest of the Moranons start to manoeuvre toward the centre of the battlefield, although they stay out of charge range of Aragorn. Gothmog charges into Farmer Maggot's dogs, and the troll, which you can just see arriving at the top of the screen, starts to advance forward with the bulk of the Moranon army. On Arryn's turn, he spends a will point from Gandalf's store and his free point to command an orc out and into charge range of Aragorn. Bilbo puts the ring on and charges into Zagdush with as many hobbit militia as he can. And Farmer Maggot moves toward the centre of the board to the safety of Gandalf, whilst he charges the 3rd dog into combat with Gothmog, trapping him. He's hoping to kill the wag, but I fear it might be 3 dead dogs. Right, so Louis charged 2 dogs with Gothmog, and I thought you hated the dogs. And then Arryn charged the 3rd dog in, so 3 dogs will die this turn.
No.
Great, let's find out who hates dogs more. Arryn begins the combat phase by calling a heroic combat with Aragorn, and Louis calls a heroic strike with Zagdush against Bilbo. It's clever play from Arryn. Aragorn easily dispatches of the orc that is fighting, and then charges into Goroth, who declined to heroic strike. He wins the duel against Goroth and inflicts 3 wounds, who promptly fails his fate. Louis now has to use the Come Here Maggot special rule. If he rolls 2 2+s, he'll be able to throw orcs in the way of Goroth and take them off, instead of taking wounds on Goroth himself. 1, 2. So 2 orcs are dead and Goroth's alive.
Gurus is red.
Yeah.
Go ahead. 4.
5.
Who's up front, mate?
Ooh.
Point him out with Gurus.
Well, he's going to take two strength 2 hits if he's not careful.
Cool, both.
Yep.
Yeah.
Zagdush is facing off against Bilbo wearing the ring and a whole mob of hobbits. 6 with Zagdush.
Yeah, I'll take Bilbo.
3 wounds. His defense 2 because he's not got his missile out.
So, no fate and down to 1 wound.
Who let the dogs out?
Okay, dogs.
Yeah.
Take your target. 6.
Dogs got a 6.
5.
On the charge with Gothmog with 5.
Dog number 1.
That's the point I might with Gothmog.
Dead.
Dog number 2.
Is dead.
I think they've got names though.
Number 3.
Yeah, Fido, Johnny and Rover.
Oh no. Drew a point of Mike though.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
At the end of turn 3, there's still no change in the scores. Aaron holds 3 of the board quarters and Louis holds 1.
Priority?
5.
3. Aragorn's going to call a direct move with his 3 points of might.
I'll call on Goroth.
So you've got priority to set your roll. I'm not doing anything else.
1, 2, 3 is me.
Yeah. It's me.
Aragorn uses his heroic move to controversially charge back in on Goroth. This is a risky play. Aaron's hoping that Gandalf will be able to immobilise the orc, and Aragorn's charge bonus will make sure he rolls a 6. If Gandalf's immobilise fails, or Goroth resists, Goroth will be able to heroic strike, which is going to cause Aragorn some problems. Louis tied up the few sheriffs he needs to on his move, and used the rest of his orcs to surround Aragorn. Gothmog heads out alone to deal with Farmer Maggot's warband, and the troll and the bulk of Louis' army head toward Farmer Cotton.
I'm going to use 2 dice to immobilise Goroth to stop a heroic strike. She's done. It's only got 1 well.
got 1 and he needs a 5+, so they can obviously use mine.
2.
With the rest of his move, Aaron mimics Louis. He completely swamps Gothmog with hobbits. There's now a big hero on each side completely surrounded. If either fails a roll, this could be a very quick game. There's 4 big combats this turn, with Aragorn and Gothmog being completely surrounded, Zagdush surrounded and fighting Bilbo wearing the ring, and then Holfoot Bracegirdle facing down against Gurits.
Any heroics?
I'm going to strike for Zagdush again one more time.
Farmer Maggot might have strike.
Isn't really.
Even when his dogs are dead. And he goes into psychopathic rage.
It implies that Eowyn loves Theoden more than Maggot loves his dogs, doesn't it?
Because, yeah, I actually think he swaps his strength and defense, and he has strength 3 and defense 2. Okay, no, that's cool. So you pick the order.
Yeah, we'll do Zagdush down
Bilbo's the green dice. 6.
Zagdush easily cuts down poor old defense 2 Bilbo with his first attack, but then fails to kill a hobbit with either of his last 2 attacks.
Gothmog on the charge there.
6. Great.
Oh, Gothmog, he's knocked him down. Who are you starting with, Maggot or the Warriors?
Yeah, I'll do Farmer Maggot then first.
None.
Again.
2 wounds on Farmer Maggot, he needs to take his fate now.
Take 1 fate, which have failed. Take 2nd fate, which have passed. So he's down to 1 wound, no fate.
Farmer Maggot again.
Dead.
Archer.
No, because
Strength
it's
3.
from 4.
Stretching 4.
And they're all knocked down.
So 6. So
Gee.
it'd be 6s, and it's 5 because I'm plus 1.
Yeah.
1 wound.
Taking it?
Yeah, you don't come into it with Hobbit heroes with clubs.
And then the final combat of the turn is Aragorn versus an immobilised Goroth and 4 Morannon orcs.
5.
Ooh, and he's used his free might. Make him draw a might.
So 6. I'll use my natural point of that.
What might of Aragorn?
So first turn Goroth.
Nothing.
Second turn Goroth. 1 wound on Goroth.
That's like. Oh, what's to me?
No. Spend a point of might to kill the all next to you. 2 more onto Goroth. No, and then another one onto Goroth. 2 more wounds on Goroth.
How you feeling?
Not too bad. Gareth's killed more orcs than Aragorn so far.
Two Trees Gaming is here to provide quality content for the Middle-earth strategy battle game. If you like battle reports, tournament reviews and tactical analysis, or if you like things going wrong and sometimes going right, and 400 model battle reports, you're in the right place. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. No change in the score, but Farmer Maggot, Bilbo and Goroth all died in turn 4, and Aragorn, Gandalf and Gurritz have all had to spend valuable resources.
Priority. 3. I get it.
Aaron wins priority and Louis doesn't call any heroic actions. Aaron starts his move by manoeuvring some Hobbit archers into firing positions on top of a building, and then it's on to Gandalf.
9 inches. I'm going to Sorcerer's Blast Gothmog with 2 dice. Which I choose.
Doesn't resist.
Louis fails to resist and Gothmog is pushed back 2
Here's
inches.
the wag today.
Wag, please.
He takes a wound from the blast, falls off his wag, which then runs, and takes another wound whilst falling from it. And inevitably, the hobbit that Gothmog was blasted into
It's fine.
That was absolute carnage. With the rest of his move, Aaron charges Aragorn into Gurritz. The orcs around Aragorn are all not prone, so they're not going to be able to get up and join in the combat. He moves Farmer Cotton and some militia to hold a pass between the ruins and the house. On Louis' move, he then spreads his army into 2 quarters, although he's really lacking killing power with Goroth dead and Zagdush mobbed by hobbits just off screen.
Oh, sorry, I've got a shot. From that one guy. He hits on a 4. He's missed.
Okay, I'll just edit that out, that's fine.
I have priority, so any hero.
No.
So we'll start with Aragorn's combat.
Gurritz is red.
3.
Aragorn's rolled a 3?
Yeah.
6. 2 more on the second horse.
So 4's on those. Double 3.
And Gurritz on the horse. On the
1.
horse.
What was it?
1 wound on the horse.
1 wound on
So
the
he's a fate to save the horse. Save the horse.
That should have been dead horse, 2 lost fate, and then a wound on Aragorn.
In the following combat, Holfoot lost a wound to a pair of Morannon orcs, and then the only combats left for the turn are Zagdush versus 6 hobbits and Gothmog versus 6 hobbits.
Sure.
6.
Against hobbits.
Gothmog's up.
Gothmog stands up. Okay, let's do Zagdush on the 6 hobbits that are going to murder him.
You're going strength 5 to kill them on 3s, but they'll kill you on 5s. Whoa.
5.
3 hobbits.
He's rolled 3 1s. Oh no. Should have been 3.
I'll keep doing that forever.
Gandalf's Sorceress blasting 2 wounds off Gothmog was a disastrous start to the turn for Louis. It's given Aaron an extra victory point, but Louis did start to claw his way back into it and he's managed to take a fate point off Aragorn, although he did manage to save his horse.
3. Well,
1. Yeah, I'll do it with Gurritz.
I'll use my free point. I'm gonna counter it with the hobbit. Holfoot is gonna counter it to save Aragorn's 3 point.
That was a great shout.
You get it.
Louis wins the roll-off for the heroic move and immediately charges Gurritz into Aragorn. He fully commits to killing Aragorn, surrounding him against the board edge with 3 more Morannon orcs. A 4th orc charges into a sheriff. He's just there to block the path, and the hobbit's 4-inch movement means they're not going to be able to get round and peel combatants off Aragorn. Aaron's hoping that Aragorn will deal with Gurritz and his friends, and he manoeuvres the hobbit sheriffs out from the ruin to behind Farmer Cotton. Gandalf immobilises the troll, which is doubly good. It's now creating a roadblock for Louis' Morannon orcs who can't move around it to get into combat with Farmer Cotton. If they do move around, Farmer Cotton and his friends will be able to throw stones, and Aaron positions his archers so they'll be able to shoot any Morannons who aren't in combat. 2 brave Hobbit militia charge at 6 Morannon orcs to hold them at a pass between the houses. It means the orcs won't be able to help Gothmog, who gets surrounded by hobbits. The 2 militia will inevitably die, but if Gothmog takes another wound, it's a worthy trade-off. And just off screen, Zagdush also gets swamped by hobbits.
I'm going to throw some stones at these. Actually, I was going to throw stones at the troll. I'm going to change to throw at the orcs. 6s, then 4s.
Yep. None dead. I thought I was actually going to do some business.
Yeah. 5 shots onto the enforcer. 3 hits. 6s. No.
No wounds.
If he's going to step out, he's going to get shot. Okay, let's do Aragorn.
Okay, big one.
He's only got 3 dice.
So he's surrounded against the edge of the board. Oh, he's got a 2!
5.
It's a 5. What have you got?
Okay, I've got my 3 point and 2 points in height, so I'm actually going to have to do it.
Oh no!
He can't survive that.
Okay, I'll use Goat's one.
Oh,
Sorry, hold on. Sorry, I didn't realise you had mine.
I'm sorry, did you just declare you're using your might and then he did? And
No,
then
but I
he did?
didn't know. No, I didn't mind. I actually won't then use the mic. I'll have to take the hits.
So 5's all round. Gurritz has got might. Which dice is Gurritz?
Goat's is red. I'm going to use the first Morannon on the horse.
Oh, any taking the horse?
So you had to double that.
Yeah.
So 2.
So he's got 2 wounds on his horse. Do you want to take the fate, or is that's actually a free wound if you take the horse off?
Take the horse off.
Just a little tactical insight into what Aaron's thinking here. Aragorn's surrounded, so Louis doubles his attacks. Each attack must be against the same target. Louis has chosen to hit the horse. Both attacks have wounded the horse, so Aaron would need to use 2 fate points to save it. He's chosen to have the horse die. That means one of Louis' successfully wounding attacks is now wasted, and Aaron essentially has a 3 point of fate.
And then
Throw him rider now.
Rider. He's fine.
So he's all, but he's still surrounded.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So now the rest are
5's all round. You might regret those 2 wounds that you've gone there. Uh-oh. Only 2.
5.
2.
And Goat's is red.
And how many might you got?
1.
So you could get 3 wounds.
How many fate? Because you use the horse
2
more than
fate.
So you're going to use them?
Well, you might as well.
He doesn't have to. He's only done 2 wounds.
No.
So you got 1 wound left.
Yeah.
I use a point might for another one.
Okay, I'll use a fate.
Failed on a
I'll use
2.
another fate.
Failed on a
I'll
3.
use a 3 point might to 1 wound, no fate.
So 1 wound, no fate, and he's got 2 might left in the bag, and he's got no horse.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Do you wish you'd hit Aragorn instead of the horse? You weren't anticipating him just choosing the horse to die, were you?
I was. But I never
You-
attacked the horse.
No.
It's 4's on the horse as well.
When you're surrounded, just kill Aragorn. Yeah.
Tough to know in advance. As if to avenge Aragorn, the 2 hobbits that were sacrificed so that Gothmog could die managed to win both combats and make a kill.
I feel
Oh no! Uh-oh.
Unfortunately, it's all for nothing, and Gothmog kills 3 of their friends. To round off the turn, Zagdush boosts his strength value to 5 and kills 2 more militia before a 3rd dies to a Morannon orc. That felt like a big turn. Do you think you're gonna win?
Yeah.
Oh, he's called it. He's called it. I'm still team hobbits. Let me just make it clear. I'd much rather Louis win, but I'm thinking the hobbits are going to do the do. Both Aaron and Louis have a lot of models in the dead zone in the centre of the board. There's no score change in terms of who controls the quarters, but who can actually get out of the dead zone is going to go a long way to deciding this game. Both leaders have now been wounded, so the score is 7-3, going into priority for turn 7.
3.
3.
Right, so you get it. I will call a heroic move with Aragorn.
Okay.
With this heroic move, Aaron charges Aragorn into a pair of Morannon orcs, a sheriff charges into Gurritz, and Holfoot Bracegirdle charges into a Morannon orc. On Louis' move, he finally gets the troll involved in combat, and some Morannons move within about an inch of 4 hobbit archers. Gothmog and some orcs move toward the centre of the board, and then Aaron starts his move phase proper with Gandalf.
So I'm moving Gandalf an inch that way.
Toward the
And he's
Enforcer.
going to use 2 dice to Sorcerer's Blast that orc into Gothmog.
Oh, okay, around here. Where's Gothmog? Oh, Gothmog's there, sorry.
Gothmog's there, so 2 dice, I need 5s. Cast it.
And you can't resist because it's the guy in front.
That orc goes 5 inches, which is plenty of space to go to Gothmog. That orc is dead. Gothmog takes a strength 3 hit, but is knocked prone.
That's just Gothmog and his Enforcer now. Aaron then takes the first significant shooting of the game at
He now doesn't
Gothmog.
have the protection of his guy in front.
3 shots to Gothmog.
2 hits. 6s. Oh.
One of the hobbits who did so well against the Morannons last turn dies, and then it's on to Zagdush, who's facing off against a bunch of hobbit militia.
Zagdush is going down. 5. He's not got any might, has he? Okay.
He's 6. What strength did you go?
5.
So you need 5.
5s. 1, 2, 3, 4 wounds.
Over on the other side of the battlefield, Gurritz kills a sheriff, and Holfoot Bracegirdle falls to 2 Morannons. Aragorn,
Okay.
big man.
Gandalf. 2.
Aragorn just rolled a 2.
Yeah. I can't do anything, I've only got 1 wound left.
Uh-oh, so 1-5 and Aragorn's out of there.
No.
Oh!
Okay, Gandalf's going to have to come to his rescue.
The last few combats of the turn see infantry pushing each other around with no casualties inflicted until the troll wins a combat against Farmer Cotton.
I'm going to throw him.
Ah, no.
Which one you say?
Throwing him.
Not the hero.
Not the hero.
I think you're potentially hitting 3 if you throw him. Oh, strength 3 hit on him.
Dead.
And then 2 strength 3 hits on him. Dead.
That was a good combat for the troll, but he and his orc friends are still stuck in the no scoring zone in the centre of the board. But Aragorn's outnumbered by Morannons, and Louis is starting to claw his way back into the game. It's still 6-3 to the Shire, but things are starting to turn. Aaron wins priority for the turn and uses Gandalf to command an orc to behind Aragorn. They're not in combat, but he is blocking a path from Gurritz to Aragorn, who could then heroic combat off the 2 orcs he's facing. And at the end of both players' moves, this is how the board's looking. Aragorn's way out on his own against a bunch of Morannons. Gurritz is making his way toward the troll and the back of Farmer Cotton. Farmer Cotton's desperately trying to hold the line against the troll as he's in the dead zone in the centre of the board. Aaron has some hobbit archers on top of a building also in the dead zone. They're being held there by some Morannons holding the bottom of the stairs. The group of hobbits that killed Zagdush is now making its way toward Gothmog in the centre of the table. And Louis got some Morannons tactically straddling multiple zones so they can react where needed.
Okay, I've got 1 shot at Gothmog. And he's missed. But the other 2 guys are going to shoot Gurritz through the window. Okay, I've hit 1, do I hit Gurritz? I hit Gurritz. 6s. No.
Oh, no win.
I'm going to heroic combat Aragorn then.
So we've got Aragorn, heroic combat.
Combat.
Against 2.
Yeah.
You can roll 2.
5.
6.
I need to use an actual point of light to win that.
Actual point of light.
They're both dead.
Now, is he going for numbers or Gurritz?
Gotta get numbers, surely.
Kills 1.
1.
This one, please. No, sorry, I'll kill that one. Yeah, that was a mistake.
So you can get away.
Yeah.
Over near the troll, 1 hobbit dies and Gandalf kills 2 Morannon orcs before the troll rolls a 4 high facing off against 1 hobbit militia.
Oh, hello. We rolled the 1. 5 won the combat.
Oh, well done, Farmer Cotton.
And... No, doesn't win. 3. Oh, come on. He's surrounded. Dead. think that's me broken.
Aaron is in fact broken, and Louis managed to get twice as many models into the board quarter where Aaron's Hobbit archers are on top of the building. Gothmog's still wounded though, the score is 7-5 at the moment, and remember the game ends when one army's been reduced to 25% of its starting number.
Priority. 2, 1. Any heroics?
No.
No. Okay. I'm going to use 1 dice to immobilise the troll.
Oh,
I'm going to use a point of might to immobilise the troll.
hello.
2. Right, so that troll is immobilised.
Aaron uses priority to push his hobbits back out toward the Moron line. He pins them all in place, keeping them in the dead zone in the centre of the board. At the moment, they're not scoring any victory points. Aragorn and a sheriff attack Gurrits in the ruin, and a couple of hobbits, including Farmer Cotton, make a move for the next quarter along. Although Farmer Cotton did fail his courage test spectacularly, and has had to use a might and a will point just to stay on the battlefield. 2 of Aaron's hobbit archers run, and then Louis uses Gothmog and the Enforcer to mob a hobbit militia. 2 orcs move to the top quarter to compete with Farmer Cotton and his friend. And then it's onto the shoot phase where a hobbit archer kills a Morannon orc. At the start of the combat phase, Louis declares that the age of men is over, which is going to let his whole army re-roll failed wounds, and then the Enforcer uses his only point of might to call a heroic combat. Louis uses the heroic combat to spread his troops out. Gothmog does have to risk a 1 versus 1 with a hobbit militia though. Should be fine, but obviously Gothmog's already down to 1 wound.
Fine. Can I do this combat?
Fine.
2. 3. Oh no. Sorry. Not dead. Can you reroll your wounds though?
Yes.
Is it reroll wounds?
The age of Hobbit is over. Another Hobbit dies before Aragorn easily dispatches of Gurrits. And then it's on to Gandalf, who's fighting 2 orcs, one of which is prone. If he can make a kill, Louis' force will be broken.
Gandalf. 5.
3.
I don't have any rerolls, but I do have 2 points of might, which I think I'm going to use.
2 points of might.
Yeah, I got to. Well, he rerolls wounds and all sorts, so this is potentially the last turn. So against the guy that's already knocked over, not dead. Against the guy that is newly knocked over, not dead.
No, you 26.
They've all got shares, haven't they? I wish it was the time of the wizard.
Gandalf failing to kill either of the Morannon orcs mean Louis isn't broken and the score remains the same going into turn 10. We're at the end game now and both players have got to start thinking hard about the objectives. Aaron takes priority and has to use Farmer Cotton's last point of might to avoid him fleeing the battlefield. Gandalf mobilises the troll again, and then it's just a turn of consolidation for both armies. Neither has enough models in combat to be reduced to 25%, but Aaron will be able to break Louis if he kills just 1 more model. A Hobbit also failed a standfast and ran.
5. 4. I win. Big Hobbit kill. Woo! We'll do Cotton on the guy on the floor. I'm going to go 2-handed. 6. Dope. And you see, just stand up. Gandalf. 6.
1 Gandalf. 5's needed. Both forces are broken and both leaders are wounded. Louis does control 3 of the 4 board quarters though. Aaron badly needs to take one of the board quarters and double the amount of models that Louis got in there. That'll swing it back to 6-6. Louis takes priority for the turn.
The troll's courage
Troll's courage, come.
stays.
What orcs have we got in here?
That the troll and that one.
There's this 1 orc and the troll.
Yeah.
Everything else is good. Oh,
Oh.
I was trying to get both. Camera will tell. He's in. He's in.
Oh, that orc. Courage. Really good on that.
Aragorn's courage test passes, and to charge the troll passes. Nope. He runs.
Oh,
How many is that? How many are left in this area? So he's one hobbit there. And then we've got Gandalf, 2, 3, Aragorn, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is that all your models?
I've got a model here.
And a model here.
It's 11.
So if Aaron loses 2, the game is done. There's no shooting, and in the combat phase, Aragorn strikes up to fight 9 against the troll. Fight 9.
6.
6. He's intact though, isn't he?
So, I'm just going to roll the dice. The blue dice are 4s. 2 wounds from
Andrew.
2 wounds from Andrew, and I've got he's surrounded, so I'm just going to reroll Aragorn's dice. 3 wounds from Andrew, 4 wounds from
Aragorn does the job.
Aragorn does the job.
Massive kill.
Dead.
Dead hobbit.
5. Dead hobbit. Yes. Okay, so I'm now down to 10 models.
Yeah, so any one model dies, the game's done. Lou is winning, and he was very unlucky to have the game not end last turn. He needs one more good model to die.
Priority.
4. You get that.
Necessarily want it.
Aragorn's going to call her own march.
Ooh,
Hello!
whipping the old heroic march out late game, that doesn't happen often. Louis spreads his army and consolidates his board quarters, but foolishly, he's left Gothmog exposed. If Gothmog were to die, and Aaron were to claim another board quarter, the game would swing, and Aaron would win.
No, it's going to Sorcerer's Blast Gothmog into the building, hopefully killing Gothmog and getting me the leader points. Because Gothmog's only got 1 wound, and there's going to be a strength 5 and a strength 6 hit.
Here we go.
Will to cast, which is Gandalf's last will. Cast.
Oh, you got any will, Gothmog?
Is he going to resist?
It's a 4.
I'm going to use quite might.
I was using the might to resist it. Nobody wanted that.
This guy to stay.
This is the game.
Stay. Oh, it's gone.
Gone. Courage 3.
So this is the last turn, 100% last turn of the game.
Aragorn's courage test.
Aragorn's heroic march is useful, but Aaron just can't quite stretch the tape measure enough to help the hobbits claim a second board quarter.
Oh no, I've
Not done it.
just not done it. I needed another turn.
That's 12 inches out, so these 2 hobbits didn't quite make it. Yeah. These hobbits are in this quarter.
Yeah.
Louis has a man hiding around the corner here. Crucially, obviously Aaron couldn't play an extra turn because the hobbit down here fled, and that meant Gandalf's not in any quarter, and these guys can't spread enough, so we think it's victory for the Moronons.
So Louis wins 8-4.
Oh.
1 more turn.
One more turn, I actually think that would have swung. Fantastic game, and it was a very tough one to call until the last turn or so. Final score, 8-4. If you enjoyed that, please consider subscribing to the channel and help us on our quest to become the home of quality Middle-earth strategy battle game content on YouTube. And why not follow us on Instagram at 2trees Gaming, where you can find mini battle reports, miniature showcases, and sneak peeks at future videos. Thank you so much for watching. We hope we see you again soon.